got the stringers inside the transom to keep that nice and stiff and make it firm. Had a real hassle with that. Once I put the stringer in, bear in mind this is only 3mm plate. It's quite thin for a yacht, but you know it's the right plate for this design. But very susceptible to heat. So when I put that stringer and welded it up, the bloody thing, it went all out of shape. It sucked the transom in. So I spent a good day repositioning the stringer by cutting it, slotting it and pushing it out inside, and then I actually put a T-cap, I put a flat bar across the top of the stringer. I'll show you that a bit later on maybe, to hold it in position and make it nice and solid, but it's as solid as a rock now. That's good. And back in the shed, actually, yeah, look, there's the poor old rudder sitting on the ground all on its own. Never mind. That'll go back up. Oh, says the camera's panning too fast. I've got the skeg on the bench in here, and you can see where I've cut off. I'm just cleaning up the old welds. Fortunately, the weld doesn't burn into the top edge of the skeg too much. So once I clean it up, it'll pretty much be back the way it was before I welded it on the first one. So it's not too much of a drama. Okay, well I'll do some more filming once we get the skeg back up on the hull, get it tacked and welded on. There's the hole. There's the spot where the rudder post was. Unfortunately, as I said before, very much in the wrong place. And if you look down here, you can see that black dot there. That's where it actually should have been. And that's where it ended up. So somehow I measured from the wrong place. You can see those web plates where the rudder post went through. So I'm going to have to recreate or duplicate that web plate there, further back here, that spot there across there. But that's alright, it's a bit of extra reinforcing down the front there, so like I said, I'm philosophical. It's not too bad. I'm sure that other people make mistakes. Probably not quite as big as that one, but but I'll fill that in. Obviously I've got to fill that web plate in, and the profile bar will have to be replaced. And then once I cut it out here and put it through, the web plate goes across this way, and that'll be fine. As long as I get it right. So I've checked, double checked, triple checked. So I'm confident I've got it right this time. Yeah, a shame really, because it actually went in really well. It's quite a good job to do. But never mind, move on, onwards and upwards. Once I've got this rudder post finished and this second third web plate installed and the rudder and skeg everything put back in, it'll just be a case of cleaning up this transom area again. I've still got to clean that up, round off the welds on the outside and paint that, and then we can move on a bit more to inside again. So after I've done that, I've got lots of little cleaning up areas to do. And we've got lots of sandblasting where I've done welds and stuff that need tied out before they're painted. But somewhere around, I can't remember exactly what frame it is, but somewhere around here, I've got some stainless steel wire. I'm going to move on to putting the chain plates in. Next, actually no, tell a lie. I'll correct myself. Once all this back end's finished, then I'm going to put the coamings in up the top on that poop deck area. I'll just take you back up. Put these coamings in up here. There'll be one across the back and one down each side coming from the pilot house. Oh, sorry, I keep getting a warning on this screen, you're panning too fast. So yeah, from the side, the edge of the pilot house here, there'll be coamings coming out each side and one across the back. So I'll do that next, and once they're done, then I'll move on and do the chain plates. And then once that's it, I think that's the bulk of the whole structure done. After that, it's things like the engine bed, the mast step. But before I even move on to those things, once I've completed the whole structure, I'm going to do a big tidy up, a big clean up. So I've got a few pinholes here and there and some welds that after a lot of this stuff doesn't always show up straight away. Sometimes if it stands and rusts for a little while, you know, gets a bit of rust on it, it becomes more obvious. And also when you sandblast over welds, and if there's any tiny little craters, the sandblasting picks them out straight away. So they become more obvious because the sand just eats into the tiny little dot that opens it up. So in that sense, it's good to sandblast because it does show you any little pinholes and dings you might have. So after we've finished the hull, as I said, I'll go back over. We'll do all that. We'll clean up all that. We'll grind off all the welds down the sides of the decks and any welds that are not done. So there'll be quite a few weeks of cleaning up, tidying up, and then once we've finished that, I will sand everything back. I'm not going to sandblast the entire hull again, but I will sand the outside. The wife and I, the boss and I, will sand the outside and clean up any areas there might be a bit of rust showing through, get it all ready, and I'll use an epoxy primer and give it a coat over the top again. We're getting right into the dry season now, so it's much more dry, and in this weather up here, when we get to the dry season, that the moisture gets sucked out of everything goes really dry. So even steel, if it's inside the shed or inside the boat, the steel barely rusts. It gets just a tiny light rust on the surface, but almost nothing. So we're just getting into that weather now where everything's going to stay dry for the next 3 or 4 months at least. So hopefully I can get all this cleaning up, tidying up, painting done. Particularly areas, I mean, look at the poop deck, you can see there's rust spots there come through where the paint's flaked off, you know. And we haven't panicked about that too much. I mean, you just don't want it to get too bad. That area there's probably getting a little bit more than I would like, but again, it'll clean up okay. It's not going to do any major harm. And then after all that's done, I reckon in another probably 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks at least, then we'll move on to the inside. As I said, I'll do the engine bed, the mast step, and then we'll start electrics, plumbing, tanks, all that kind of stuff. We'll be starting on the inside. I'm really looking forward to it. That's a very big milestone. To get this hull finished to the point where we can move inside is a big milestone, because I look at it like that. Once the hull of this boat is finished to the point where I can fit it out, I mean, don't forget I've got windows and all that stuff to do, but they won't be done. I'm going to do them a bit later on. One, I don't have the money to buy all the windows, and two, in this weather, once the wet season comes again, I don't want the boat keep filling up with water. It only takes a big storm to rip the covers off and the boat gets plenty of water in it, and I don't want that, so I'm going to minimise that, and before I actually line the inside and do all that stuff, I'll put the windows in as late as possible. But I suppose the fuel tanks, water tanks, they're all important things that have to be done, so bulkheads. Yep, so that's the plan anyway. I'll try and document as much as I can. I'm a bit hopeless when it comes to videos, but I'll try and document as much of that as I can, and we'll go from there.